This is the American Nightmare Podcast, episode 18.
Ooh.
Hey now.
Yes.
Wow.
Hey
June
now.
13th.
It's like Thursday the 13th, which is like not quite Friday the
Cool.
13th, but you know,
Saturday.
it's like if it was PG-13.
PG 13th. All right, so let's go over some news. I posted some of this stuff. We all posted a bunch of stuff to the Facebook group,
Yeah.
but I figure we'll go through some of it anyway. New Mutants
Dead.
moved back to 2020.
Oh, I thought it was
It's,
dead.
come on,
They're
it's
gonna
dead.
kill it.
It's
Dead in
dead.
the water, I thought. Yeah.
They said they're refilming more scenes. But the thing is, some of those people were young. They're aging. How's this going to work? I say just throw it away. Just be done with it
Yeah.
already.
Put it in the discount bin at
It's frustrating as hell. But then again, you know what? I did not go see The Dark Phoenix, but I heard it was horrifically bad.
yeah,
That's what I
Rotten
heard.
Tomatoes gave it like what, like 15% or
Yeah.
something like that?
A
or?
couple of my friends went to see it, and they were like, it was not even really watchable.
Wow.
Yeah, they said
Are
it
you
was the worst
are you
X-Men.
shocked by that?
Not at all.
We kind of called it, right? Like
Yeah, I mean, what did we expect from Fox, the garbage company?
yeah,
The
because I
garbage
really
man.
was looking forward to Age of Apocalypse, and that was really disappointing.
That was bad.
And like you said before, I mean, they have already done the Dark Phoenix story in the previous iteration of.
Yeah, wasn't it like what was the name of that?
And
that one was really bad too.
that
That
was-
was
that
the worst X-Men
that
movie.
was the
This
yeah,
one's worse than that.
that that was the third of the Bryan Singer like trilogy.
Yeah,
X-Men. Oh shit! X-Men sucky movie. I think it was called.
X-Men sucky movie.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember it clearly.
Although I did really like Femke Jensen as.
She was.
Yep.
She hated playing that part though.
And there was that scene where she becomes evil and she goes up to Logan and is all like wanting
yeah,
she didn't like that role. Oh, I didn't know that.
She hated it.
I like her.
It's just like what's her name now that plays
Sophie Turner.
No. The other girl that's in Blue. Mystique character. What's her name?
Jennifer Lawrence.
She hated it too.
Yeah.
They said basically her acting, she mailed it in on this one.
Really?
You watch the Umbrella Squad?
No, I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, you got to watch that
Yeah,
one too.
Umbrella Academy.
All
is
right, let me
awesome.
finish.
Umbrella
Let me
Academy,
watch
sorry.
Sabrina first.
Okay,
Yeah, no, but go to Umbrella. And Archer started too, the new one. The 19
Another bit of news. You sent the link to the trailer for this one is Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
I'm excited by it because I read the book in 2013, I think it was. But I just looked it up. Goodreads gave it a 4.1 out of 5.
Oh, really?
It was a good book. I
Yeah.
thought it was good.
So it's the young boy grown up, right?
So it's Danny all grown up, yeah.
Okay.
A
Yeah,
lot
my
of
buddy Kevin
flashbacks.
recommended it. Well, he asked what I thought of the trailer, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know there was a trailer. So I watched it today, and I was like,
I didn't even know either. I didn't even know they were making it into a book.
Does he go back to the hotel?
well, it looks like through flashbacks, yes. And
Yeah.
then, well, I don't know. The one scene, it looks like he
goes
He
to
goes
the door.
Goes back.
Yeah.
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 Like, here's Danny.
Yeah. So,
But
like,
the thing that'll make it a little confusing, at least in my mind, is it's a part 2 from the book, not that shitty
Gotcha.
movie that
Right.
wasn't the Stephen King movie.
Yes.
I mean, it was a good movie, but it was not.
No.
It was not The Shining. But anyway, it might be a little confusing to some people unless they kind of made it tie together better.
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, like I said to him when I watched it, I was like, it's not that I don't want to see it, but
Yeah.
I still have a shitty taste in my mouth from Pet Cemetery. So Stephen King,
Exactly.
Oh,
and that usually happens with me with Stephen King. Like
yeah.
I hit the highs and then I
There's
get-
some really good ones and then some really
yeah.
bad ones.
So I mean, I'll probably watch it, but right now I'm not like saying, oh, I got to go see this. You know?
yeah.
How
yeah.
can he well, whatever.
Well, the
He-
thing
he's
is, what-
making money off of it, but like, how can you like let that fly? Like that ending? Like, how can Stephen King put his?
The
stamp
problem
of
is he
approval?
tries to be
A good guy?
Yeah, he tries to be kind of pulled back from it and like, hey, it's a good horror movie.
Yeah.
It's not his story, but it's a good horror movie.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that type of thing.
And he seems like a nice guy too, so he doesn't want to come out and say, dude, what the hell did you do to
and
my work?
because you think
fucked
about it,
up."
in the 80s, he got angry about The Shining and all that, and he decided, you know what, I'm going to direct my own. And then he did Maximum Overdrive, which was a complete and utter screwing of the pooch.
I liked it.
It was
I
a-
liked Maximum.
It was okay, but he was high on cocaine the whole time. He could barely
Well.
direct. He could barely handle it.
Emilio Estevez may have been too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the whole cast was. Okay, so a little more news. Swamp Thing, which I was so excited to see.
What, after one episode,
Canceled
right?
after one
One
episode.
episode. And from what I saw, it had good reviews.
Yeah, I heard it was really good. But
Was
they're
that
gonna
Hulu or
there's
something, too?
No,
No,
it was on DC
DC's
Universe.
DC's
Oh.
network.
Gotcha.
And DC Network may be canceling. They may be shutting down their network.
That
Imagine
quick,
that.
man. I guess
Less than a year in operation.
Jesus.
Those damn Avengers.
Well,
Avengers, right?
it's DC. You know, like
That's the
It's
thing.
been mismanaged.
Everyone has been saying that all the programming is mediocre at best.
that's a surprise.
There was only one show that really was pretty good, and it was what the hell is that called? I can't remember the name of the show, but one of my friends was saying there's like one good show on the whole channel, and I was like, really? He's
well,
like,
there's
yeah.
that
The Flash.
that new one that's out on Sci-Fi,
Flash.
Krypton.
That
No,
one
that
looked
looks-
really good.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, okay, if that's based on Superman, why would they not have put that on?
Stupid licensing deals. I'm
Yeah.
telling
I
you.
saw
It's
the
just dumb.
animation for Creepshow too. That looked good.
Oh yeah?
Did you see that?
No, I haven't.
They had some animation out on it.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it looked good.
Blumhouse is creating a remake of Black Christmas,
Wow.
Oh, another.
and it's coming out this
It's
December.
already been remade once, right?
Yeah.
Like just a
Nice.
couple years ago.
Yeah, it's coming out this December.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
They could probably do a good job with that. I think
that was a good one. The original.
Blumhouse has
was
been
pretty
making some pretty great horror movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you haven't watched any of their programming on Hulu, the monthly horrors,
I have not watched any of those yet.
I don't think there's been one that I thought was shitty.
That's
There was
awesome.
some ones that were better than others, but not one of them was shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have them on my list. The problem is I barely ever open Hulu.
Yeah.
So I like forget about what's on my list in there, and then I open it. and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about this, and then I watch something. You know, The Haunting of Hill House
Sequel?
Part 2
Nice.
what
comes September.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, it'll be ready in
This
September.
is the first I'm hearing this.
I know that.
Wow.
I knew that they were excited about it, and they wanted to order a second season.
Awesome.
And they did, and it's coming in
Completely
September.
different, though, right?
Awesome.
Yeah,
New
they
family
didn't
probably
really
moving
give
into the
any
house or
synopsis
whatever.
of it.
Maybe one of the other families that used to live there.
What I'm hoping is
Yeah.
like the families before,
Right.
Or at least a backstory, maybe one or two of those ghosts or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stranger Things season 3 comes out in September.
That's
Nice.
July? I thought that was July.
I think is it July?
It
Maybe
might-
I'm wrong. Maybe I got those two.
I
dates
knew it was
confused.
this summer, but
I think it's July actually
All right.
already.
So
Maybe.
July. Yeah, you're right. July 5th, right? It was on.
Yeah.
It was on my Netflix when I,
I think
logged in
so.
today.
Yeah.
oh, was it?
Yeah, Stranger Things season 3. The trailer looks really good,
Yep.
and that Wolf, the kid actor that's in it.
Yeah.
He's like, this is like the craziest
Wow.
season yet.
Really?
Yeah,
Not,
and they're going to be wrapping up the
Is
story.
only going to be 6 episodes, or
Probably because they're wrapping up the
sucks.
story. They're trying to just put a good,
So this
Little
is,
bow
this is
on it.
final. This is
Yeah.
final. Okay.
and that's one of the great things about Netflix. They won't let a show get canceled.
Yeah.
They'll bring it to an end, and they've been buying up shows just to bring them to an end.
maybe they should have bought up Game of Thrones and brought that to an end.
Exactly. But they bought up Lucifer.
Yeah, I
and
saw
they're
that.
putting the final chapter together for that. Which is awesome because Lucifer was a good show. I don't know why it got canceled.
Because it was about Satan.
Probably.
Did you watch Nosferatu?
Nosferatu.
Anybody
I
check
have
that
not
out?
watched that one
No,
yet, but I
There's
have
only
seen
2 episodes.
Yeah,
I have seen
Not
the.
bad.
what's that on like Sci-Fi?
No, it's
FX?
FX.
FX, yeah.
Yeah,
No, AMC.
you're right. It's AMC.
It's AMC.
It's AMC. You're right.
Speaking of
Uh,
FX, are you all the way through What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes, and I loved it.
I got 3 to watch.
I loved it.
But
Dude,
yeah.
such a great show,
Especially
right?
the end. Now that they show what's his name is the
I,
heir of Van Helsing.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen the last episode yet.
Oh,
I saw
Yeah.
the count. Yeah.
No,
I
it's
saw the
cool.
council.
It's cool.
I saw the council.
it was so fucking good.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
so
but it's a
good.
great show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved the episode where it was all like the celebrity vampires that showed.
The Council of Vampires.
Yeah.
is
They had
awesome.
Blade.
Paul
I was like, holy
Rubens.
shit, it's Blade. Yeah, Paul
Paul
Rubens
from Buffy.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
fucking great. That was so
a lot of
great.
good cameos in that. In
That's
that
the
show.
last one I saw. So
Yeah, that was really good. I love that show. It's very good. Love, Death, and Robots. Netflix ordered season 2.
Did they really?
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Also a good
Oh
show.
no, that was awesome.
And it's nice
one
'cause
of
it's
the
only like
best
10, 15 minutes.
anthologies. It's one of the best anthologies I've seen yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthologies don't do very well
No.
Right.
because their stories become some are good, some are bad, and you get kind of bored with the ones that suck.
Mm-hmm.
This was really good.
Yeah.
Even my kids watch it with me.
And
Yeah.
and again, like it's nice. It's a nice filler. If
Yeah.
you don't want to
15,
like
20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, yep.
I saw a trailer today also for the Banana Splits on
Oh,
Sci-Fi.
yeah.
Wow.
They're making it into a horror movie that looks a lot like the theme of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, it
Okay.
does.
Banana Splits.
Yeah,
Wow.
I did.
And they even have the Banana Split song.
I was gonna say, is there a trailer?
Yes.
Okay,
The
I
punk
also
rock
saw-
version, or was that the Dickies?
Yeah, it's the original Dickies version
Okay.
from the original show.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I saw was like the article that was coming out. I didn't know there was a trailer.
Yep, there's a nice trailer.
Oh, nice. I have to watch
looks,
it.
it looks kind of like
Trippy?
a B movie kind of trippy horror movie.
Nice.
And they got people's actors
When-
that have the same voices
when's
as
that
the
coming?
characters. I didn't see when it starts, but I did see the trailer. I'll try and post the information
what
on
channel?
Facebook. It is on Sci-Fi.
Sci-fi.
Sci-Fi has been kicking up their game because
Yes.
they renewed Happy, and there was another
Yeah,
really
Happy's-
great show
Happy's
that was
good.
on there that they just renewed too.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Stephen King's The Long Walk
Oh,
is now getting made.
nice. I love that story. Wait, was
Um,
that Richard Bachman that wrote that? though?
Yes, yeah, it was him. It's,
Yeah, well,
it's
yeah, I
his
know, I know.
Alter ego, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
another great story.
I really love that story.
And here's the crazy thing. I was reading an article about the screenwriter is remember Dawson's Creek?
yeah.
What was the kid's name? The blonde guy
Oh,
jeez.
yeah. Josh.
In real life?
in
No.
real life. Fuck.
Yeah, he did that football movie.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But he's writing the screenplay for the Long Walk.
Yeah,
I
you know.
guess he wrote a couple different screenplays. I was surprised when I started looking up his work. I'm like, oh, he wrote some good
Really?
stuff.
You know, when the Hunger Games came out, it kind of reminded me of the Long Walk. Just the general concept behind it.
Yeah.
I was like, this reminds me a lot of the Long Walk.
Yeah. So
It's a
and
great story.
and the article I read was had what's that name? Damn it.
I wonder who they get to play the colonel, or it was a colonel, right? Or was it a major? The guy who was like running the whole thing and like rode behind them in
Major, right?
yeah, was he? Yeah, I think
I
it was
think
a
it was
major.
major. I can't remember what I was going to say, but yeah, I'll post the article up to Facebook. I'll also put the link in the
Sweet.
show notes so that people who have
Is that
an appropriate podcast listening app will have the link in it to the story. So it's really
theatrical release or is that like
good.
a
It's theatrical
yeah?
release. Yes.
nice?
So Annabelle Homecoming, that's coming up shortly. That is when is the release date on that one?
I don't remember.
June 20.
I haven't seen any
Fourth.
new trailers. Has
Yeah,
there been a new trailer? I think it's the same
They keep
one
saying
as
the same
before.
one over and over.
They actually had a interactive. You could walk around the room with all the
Different knickknacks in it
and some creepy things happen. It was kind of cool. It was like a
on the official website.
a virtual tour of the.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of
That's
neat.
kind of cool.
So check it out if you can. Yeah, it's on the.
I think it's going to be a pretty good movie.
It does look good.
yeah, they had that bloody bride or whatever. I don't know if you saw that scene, but they had the gown in the room
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
all the possessed.
yeah. I've actually
I got to check that out because I'd like to see all the other things that are in that room because they only kind of give you a glimpse of a couple things most of the time.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
the music box, Annabelle. Did they have the little monkey playing the cymbals?
That's awesome.
that guy's creepy.
Midsummer. There's been 2 trailers for that one now, I believe.
Yeah, they're very similar.
Yeah.
There's slight different scenes in the second one, I think. But
This is a foreign film, or is this?
I don't know if it's foreign or if it's just supposed to take
place in a foreign?
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know that. I've watched the trailers. I haven't read a whole lot about it
All
because I was worried if I read stuff about it, it might
Spoil things
I'd rather
and-
just go in and having no idea what the hell is going on.
And then also the trailer to High Life, which you sent out, which is another space horror movie. Which, by the way, space horror movies are awesome. This one, as you mentioned, very reminiscent of.
It had like an Event Horizon
Event
kind of feel
Horizon,
to
yeah,
it, like
yeah.
some like the woman who's they're calling like Ma or something like that, and she appears to be a scientist who's trying to perfect the human genome, like and make. But she's got something else going on there.
Andre
always tends-
2000's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah, she's got something else
It
going
goes
on.
by his real name. Was it Andre
Yeah, I don't know.
something?
But yeah, shit looks like it looks like she's making genetic mutations and
Interesting.
doing some weird scientific shit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
3 from Hell. We finally got a teaser, but that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of it
And
was
that's what it
footage
was.
from the
Yeah.
from the previous
Yeah,
movie.
from the old character, like from the old
Yeah, it just
characters
didn't.
from the old movie.
It did not solve my
Thanks, Rob.
thirst
Thanks a lot.
for 3 from Hell. I think I mentioned before it did get a rated R They did rated R.
Yeah, for extreme like gore or something like that. Or
Yeah. And it looks like, I don't know if you, in the trailer, there was a glimpse of Sid Haig looking pretty goddamn rough.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting up there in age, I guess. But
Yeah.
he looked really old and beat in that one scene that they showed. So
He's got to redeem himself. 'Cause
yeah.
if this one stinks.
And they also showed, what's his name? Doomhead.
Yeah.
With a bit of a scruffy beard, so he looks like he's part of the clan.
Yep.
Or maybe they met him in prison.
Maybe
or
he's like a cousin from out of town.
yeah, who knows? But I'm excited about that.
You guys are all into some mischief?
Yep.
Awesome. I love mischief. Let's kill some fuckers.
I also happened to watch on HBO finally the new Halloween remake.
Oh, yeah, I saw it's on HBO. I haven't watched
Yep.
it, but I'm
I
going to
watched
now that
it,
it's free.
Stinker. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it just wasn't what I expected.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now that it's free, I figure one night.
Doesn't hurt to watch
yeah.
a free movie.
Well, that's like I don't remember. You remember a couple months ago I was telling you that the Death House was
Yes.
coming out. The one it's kind of like the Expendables, but
yeah, but like all murder. Yeah,
it
it was bad.
yeah. There was some cool. It was cool to see all those horror icons in the same movie.
Yeah.
And there was one or two good gore scenes, and I think the concept was a good idea. I don't know if
the original trailer was like, yeah, that looks like it's going to be pretty awesome.
I don't know what their budget was or
Not enough.
yeah. I really wanted to like it, and I actually about 60% through was like, I feel like turning this off, but
Really?
I watched it just because I was like, maybe the end will, so I was bummed. I really
sucks.
wanted to like it.
That sucks.
It had potential, and it just
That bums me out to hear that.
yeah. It's like the trailer was basically they took all the best parts of
out.
it and just made it.
I hate when they do that shit.
Yeah,
Damn it.
because it was on like I think it's on Prime, like Amazon Prime, like for free. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I'm gonna watch this. Yeah.
I posted up on Facebook 2 videos. One of them is the comparison of Dracula movies.
Oh yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch
yeah, I
it.
didn't
How
see
they compare to the novel of Dracula,
Mm-hmm.
Bram Stoker's novel. You should watch it. It's really awesome, and I recommend that all of our listeners watch it, especially if you're into Dracula and or vampires. He does a really thorough. He watched every one of those movies in that list, and he does a point-by-point check-off of what is accurate with the book and what is not, and he scores it and then tells you the one that is, if you want an accurate depiction of what is in the novel, which movie you should watch.
Which one did they show on public television? That one I thought was.
I can't remember, but he
That
does
might even
mention
be-
that one.
That might even be Christopher Lee. I think.
Well, the Christopher Lee ones, interestingly enough, the first one that Christopher Lee was in was loosely based on Dracula, but not even close.
Oh,
It
really?
ranked really poorly.
No, this one, like I said, the one they showed on public television.
Yeah, and the Christopher Lee ones, that was like the whole 1970s. I love that series because that was the Hammer films. It had like the Curse of Dracula, the Blood of Dracula, Dracula's Bride. It was like there was a whole bunch of them, and Christopher Lee played Dracula like 10 times.
Yeah,
in those
I remember those all the time on Saturday afternoons.
Yeah, and it was, to me, because of growing up, in the 70s and 80s, like to me it was, he was Dracula.
Yeah.
right. And his voice and the blood red eyes that they always had him in was like, yeah, that's Dracula. So I always pictured him in the scary movies like that. So, Netflix is remaking Under the Dome, which is based on Stephen King. Do you remember the shitty series on TV a few years ago, Under the Dome?
It rings a
It was
bell.
fucking horrible.
It rings a bell.
Mostly because it was produced for TV, and they always fuck up Stephen King stuff. Like, there's a couple that were good, like Storm of the Century was pretty good.
Langoliers
was horrifically bad. The Stand wasn't so bad, but it didn't hold up over the years.
No.
But they're redoing Under the Dome with a Netflix budget, which I feel good about, because the book was really good. The series,
is it kind of like the Simpsons movie where
No.
somebody puts the whole town under a dome?
not quite.
All
not
right.
quite. Let me see. Child's Play. I don't know if you looked at the latest trailer.
I haven't.
Not digging it.
No,
No.
I haven't seen the newest one.
I don't like the way Chucky looks.
Chucky
It's
looks
just-
retarded.
Yeah, I
It
don't
doesn't
like the
look
way it
quite
looks.
right.
Nope.
And the whole theme of it's not really Chucky killing people. It's like Chucky is Bluetooth controlling all your devices
Yeah.
and killing you. It's not quite
Yeah.
the same. and I'm a little worried about it.
I'm
They
a lot
did show
worried about
Chucky with the knife in his hand,
Okay.
but like his eyes look weird compared to the original doll, and they
yeah.
were like lit up red.
Yeah.
So because it was more electronic, you know, I guess it's to go with modern times.
Yeah.
But
So he's like part like play doll, part the Terminator.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really weird. It was really weird. So I'm not sure how I feel about it, and it's starting to make me feel like
Yeah.
It's a wait for it to come out on.
yeah, that it's not going to be one you're going to want to watch, or that I'm going to watch for sure.
Yep. I agree.
Let me see. See if there was something else I wanted to talk about, and I thought I had everything written down, but it doesn't seem that way. I will post online. There's a great interview I read of Mark Hamill talking about recording the voice for Chucky. It was
Nice.
pretty good.
I like Mark Hamill.
I love it. I love his voice. When he does the evil voice, he's always freaking amazing.
I mean, like for me, his Joker voice. Like
Yeah.
like whenever you like watch the newer cartoons and stuff
Yeah.
like that, I kind of miss Mark Hamill doing the voice.
Yeah, definitely. Godzilla got really shitty ratings, but I thought it was pretty good.
I didn't get a chance. I wanted to go see it and didn't.
I guess for me, I also posted a video on Facebook of, if you want to get to know Godzilla, what movies should you watch? Because there's so fucking many of them.
Yeah.
I have the whole collection of the original 70s Japanese series, and I have the late 90s series. And I ripped them all to a video thing and gave it to my friend for his kid to watch because he liked them. And he's like, hey, some of those were really cheesy. And I go, yeah, the 70s stuff was, guys in
Rubber
puppet
suits.
and
Yeah.
some of them were so full of cheese that you just
can
wanted
see
to...
the strings on some
Yeah, it was really,
on
really
Mothra.
horrible. But because I'm such a fan of those, watching them on Saturdays.
Yeah,
and
no, I
WPI,
remember
Right,
doing
yeah.
that as a kid.
Yeah, so this guy, I posted a really nice video that he goes through. Here's all the videos, and if you want to get a nice introduction of the best Godzilla movies before you go see this new one, here's 5 you should watch. So he breaks down like the collection of 42 Godzilla movies and says, here's 5
That sounds pretty interesting.
that are the ones you should watch. And probably the most popular one out of them all, which was only dubbed to English a little while ago, was Shin Godzilla, which is a remake of the 1954 Godzilla that came out in Japan a couple of years ago that had very much a political undertone to it, which the original Godzilla did in 1954. It was about nuclear bombs, right?
Right, yeah.
It was about Japanese having the only real experience with nuclear bombs and how terrifying it was.
Right.
They generate that Godzilla story for their culture to cope. So a new young director redid it, making it even more terrifying with more up-to-date kind of graphics, but the same underlying, more or less, it was criticism of the Japanese government, but it's a great movie. It was really good. And it won a bunch of awards in Japan.
Oh, yeah?
But
And what year was that?
the
The remake.
3 years ago?
Oh, yeah?
It was like 3 years ago.
And it's dubbed or...
It just recently was dubbed about a year ago. You can get it on Blu-ray online, the dubbed English version. But it's definitely one worth watching. The Godzilla is not quite the same as the Godzilla you think of, because he's like, his radioactive flame is like red, and he's got like molten red on his body. But I love Godzilla in any shape or form. The producer of the new Candyman, and I don't know if you've heard about this, but and we see it all the time with remakes, toxic fandom, right?
Yeah.
The fans that are hardcore, the original, they're just down about everything, the possibility of a remake, the possibility of a retelling, and Reddit has gone up in flames with fucking people going off on the director. He did it like an Ask Me Anything,
Really?
and people were going off on him.
Is Jordan Peele directing it, or is he producing it?
He's producing it.
producing it.
So they're basically, they said they're putting together a poster for advertisement that should set off even worse the toxic fandom that's going on.
People suck.
Yeah, they really do. I think I mentioned on our last podcast, the director of that one movie, he was crying because of how fucking nasty people were online about his movie. But when I read some of the stuff on Reddit, I'm like, holy shit, these people are fucking nuts. Like they don't even want to get the movie's not even out yet. What's there to criticize? It was just bad. One more thing I think we should mention, and that is all the streaming services that are out there. Have you ever heard of this one called Quibi? Q-U-I-B-I?
Yes.
Nope. You have?
Yes.
Stephen King is writing shows for it now.
Okay.
So it's another streaming service that's like specializes in horror.
Well,
So Stephen King is now writing for that one too. I don't know if it's just a money grab or if maybe I'm thinking some of these streaming services are offering directors, carte blanche freedom to do whatever they want.
so you can go
And
fuck around and
yeah,
try
so
some
maybe
shit
that's something that they're kind of into is, movie studios are so restrictive with what you can and can't do, or
Right.
or if Steven Spielberg has like a mini series like Amazing Stories, which was awesome when I
Yeah.
was a kid, on ABC, they're not going to let him do the things he wants to do.
Right.
So I don't know how to feel about that, but I don't want to buy 1,000 streaming services.
Yeah.
I might as well just buy cable again.
Yeah, I'm holding off for the Disney one to come out, and then
Yeah. The Disney one I want because the Marvel stuff really.
yeah,
Marvel.
and the original programming with the Marvel stuff.
Yeah,
kind of
and also the fact that the Simpsons are going to be on there.
Yeah.
So, instead of buying the whole collection of fucking 20 years of Blu-rays that could cost a fortune, I can just watch it on their streaming service. But I'm still pissed at Disney because I own all the Disney movies from Apple for digital, and they still won't release them in 4K. They said only on their new streaming service.
Bastards.
I'm not going to rebuy the shit.
Yeah.
By the way, there was an article, and I think I might have posted it to Facebook, but a couple of years ago, there was a fire.
Oh yeah, I
at
just saw that.
Universal
Yep.
Yeah, and
Studios
all the
Archives.
masters.
Now, years ago, when the fire happened, I remember reading articles about movie masters, but now they're saying music.
right,
Nirvana.
They started releasing the
Guns N'
list,
Roses.
yeah, of
Nirvana,
original.
like unreleased,
Zeppelin.
like some unreleased Nirvana stuff.
Yeah,
It's-
and my kids were like, "Well, how important is that? Like, we already have the CDs." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. Like, when a new media format comes out, they always go back to the master.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't really clearly and reliably convert a Blu-ray to a 4K because you have to upscale it. You have to
Right.
go back to the master, which is analog, and make a clean copy over to 4K.
Right.
And
or
with
whatever the next.
whatever the format may be, which now they're talking 8K TVs.
Oh Jesus.
So the very sad and tragic situation is there are hundreds of thousands of movies and albums that are now gone that will always have shitty copies made to the next version because of the loss of the masters.
Yep.
That is horrible.
yeah.
I didn't realize how much shit got lost. Like I knew about the fire, but
Yeah.
they didn't tell everyone what was gone.
I think you should have had that stuff in kind of like some sort of fire retardant.
You would
Yeah.
think, or some sort of,
especially since they probably have enough money to do something like that.
well, and considering that all of that, you think about it, audio tape is like a basically plastic with
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
with an oxidated metal on
Yeah.
it, or all the film negatives and masters like cellulose that like a little spark and they'll
Yep.
burst into flames. You would think it'd be like in rooms that have that
Yeah. Climate controlled
with
and
like halon fire suppression or some
Yeah.
equivalent to that. So the minute that smoke was detected, you just suck the oxygen out of the air and put it out.
you would think.
Nope. Just some warehouse down in Burbank. What the fuck? It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. Here we are with this month's top 5. And now let me just say, we tried to narrow it down to make it a little easier. And in fact, I think it made it hard.
Yeah. I had
Because I had to think, is this a slasher technically?
Yeah, I know.
Because we were saying the list is the top 5 slasher movie kill scenes,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So there were a couple that were like in my head that I'm like, oh, these are great. Well, that's not a slasher though. Technically, it's not a slasher. It's more of a what's that?
Thriller or whatever.
Yeah, supernatural,
Yeah.
or if it's a possession, it's not a slasher,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So let me just say, this was difficult.
Yeah.
So this month it is Sal, Craig, Chris.
Alrighty.
All right. So let me start off with my number 5. And we talked about this one as we were leaving. Friday the 13th. This is
7.
Yeah.
7, the
The
new
New Blood.
New Blood, the
Yep.
sleeping bag kill scene. Which I did have to look at my video archive because I know they redid this scene. The original time was in part 7, New Blood.
Mhm.
but they redid it in the remake.
Yes.
Oh, did they really?
Friday the 13th. They added this scene to the
Because
remake.
it's such an iconic scene.
Yeah. Now in the original, he picks up the sleeping bag and bashes her against the tree,
Just
and
one time.
Which is
one time and dead.
Yeah.
In the remake, because I made a note here that I really liked the first one because it set a precedent. But in the remake, he bashed her against a tree several times until feathers came out.
Yeah.
Of
Well,
the
that's kind of
sleeping
cool
bag.
too, though.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, but just for the record, it is the part 7, the original time was a fucking shocker when it happened.
Your favorite is the
She's
remake.
like squirming in the bag. It looks like almost
Yeah.
like a
Oh,
giant
yeah.
like worm or
Yeah,
something like
and
that.
then he just goes boom,
just-
and
just-
she's just dead.
just the strength that he has just to pick her up and whack.
swing
right
it like a
against-
baseball bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my number 5. My number 4. We've talked about this movie. Has been on my list a couple times, and I love Wes Craven.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Deadly Friend, the basketball kill scene
Oh,
with the old lady
Throw
next
Mama
door.
from the train.
Yes. Her name is Annie Ramsey, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and
A-list actress, basketball to the face, and it just explodes.
Yeah, explosion. The
Now,
graphics for that were.
I rewatched the scene up on YouTube,
Yeah.
and the aftermath of that was not so good.
No.
Someone obviously with their head tucked in a shirt, stumbling around,
Yeah.
until they fall to the ground. But
That was a good scene.
Deadly Friend, I loved.
That was a great
Christy
movie.
Swanson was hotter than hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Number 3, American Psycho.
Oh.
Now there are some really great kill scenes in there.
Yeah, you know, I didn't even think
My
of that.
favorite is when the person's running away down the staircase and he drops the chainsaw.
Oh yeah, just straight down the
Yes,
street. Yeah,
that was fucking epic.
yeah. You know, I didn't even think of that movie as like a slash. I mean, it is
Yeah,
a slasher,
definitely a slasher.
but it, you know, it,
But there's so many good kill scenes, like the
Yeah.
whole the one where he's like laying down the plastic.
yeah, talking about 80s, like
Oh yeah.
80s.
He's got Duran Duran or
Yeah.
something. What was
No, it was
Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
no, it was
No.
Huey Lewis in the news.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about
Talking
their
about the
albums, and he's like dancing. He's got a raincoat on.
Yep.
Great
Such-
scene,
such a good movie,
great scene,
too.
But my favorite in that one is the chainsaw
Yeah.
because the guy's running away and he's just like at the top and he's looking down and drop, just kills him.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, my number 2, Death Proof.
Okay. I didn't see.
Yes.
I had that too.
In Death Proof, the scene that
Stuntman
blew
Mike.
my mind, Stuntman Mike, when he hits the car full of girls, that whole scene was just insane. But the
Yeah.
best of it all was not the girl with her leg out the window that gets torn off.
Mm-hmm.
When his wheel goes over the chick in the back of the car
Yep.
and just tears her face off as it goes over. Fucking crazy.
Tearing faces off is cool.
Yes. That scene, I remember in a theater, because that was a long ass fucking
Yeah.
movie. It was 2 movies.
It was
but-
a double. You and I went. I
yeah,
think.
and it was fucking long. But that scene, amazing.
Yep.
One of my top. That's my number 2. And my number 1, we talked about this one before. Nightmare on Elm Street, Johnny Depp getting
Yeah.
sucked into the fucking bed and just
Yep.
blood gushing out everywhere. And then afterwards it's dripping from the
dripping down.
ceiling and all the cops are like throwing up. And
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
was
and,
bad.
and I think the best part too, is like the blood after the aftermath, where it's still just dripping off the ceiling.
Yes.
And, yeah.
And everyone's like, and where's the coroner? Oh, he's in the bathroom still coughing up what he had for dinner last night.
That movie had a couple really I mean, that's the iconic one, but the first kill scene's pretty badass too. You know,
yeah, the girl getting splattered around the bedroom.
and her
Yeah.
boyfriend's cowering in the corner, like
Yeah.
not knowing what the hell's killing her.
Yep.
And he's swinging her around, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden she falls, and the blood splatters, and it hits him in the
Yes.
face. And
I think one of the lists that we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to work on is best directors top 5, right?
Yeah.
So we can pick like someone who has a huge catalog of movies like Wes Craven. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah. George Romero.
yeah, George Romero. You know, there's plenty of people out there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
That's my top 5. I have no. I have no
Honorable
mentions other than what we discussed, which is
Yep.
American Horror Story. I mean, I'm sorry, they all have great kill scenes in them.
Yep.
Right.
Those are my honorable mentions, and that's my top 5.
okay,
All
nice.
right.
Thank you.
So my number 5 is from the movie Terrifier with the vaginal split.
There were so many good scenes, but,
But
the
the
vaginal
vaginal
split
split.
was fucking
Oh my
insane.
god, dude! That most movies, you at some point they're gonna turn away, right?
Not that one.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually watched an interview with the guy who plays Art the Clown. He was a cast member in the touring version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Get out.
Funny. Was he the Grinch?
No, I think he was like one of the Who's.
He would have made a good Grinch.
He was
too,
not the
no?
Grinch, but
Yeah.
he got his. It was actually a pretty cool interview. He was talking about where he got some of his inspiration for this
For his
art
clowniness?
character. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm looking forward to the sequel.
Oh yeah, yeah, awesome.
That was a great scene.
Yep. Number 4, I went with Hostel Part 2.
I've never seen the sequel.
Oh, okay. So this is the scene where she's in the pit, and she has that thing, the girl hanging above her. I call it the bloodbath. You remember that one?
Oh my
where
god.
she just like, and
yes.
yeah.
Oh my god.
So you remember that one?
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the
Let me
sequel.
say, Hostel Part 2 was pretty good.
Yep.
But then they tried to do 3 and 4.
No, yeah, no. I think I
don't know why I never saw the sequel. It's one of those ones you want to watch, and then years go by, and you're like, I never got around.
But
to
there's a
watching
lady in a pit. I mean, I'll call it it's not a bathtub, but she's pretty much in an area where, and she's got this girl. Obviously the kill.
Mhm.
Yep. And just slice
above
her
and
open.
She has like this medieval looking weird thing, and it's really sharp, and she just like
Blood shower.
nipping her like little by little, and then
Yeah.
she just gets like bigger pieces.
it.
of
Oh,
blood.
jeez,
And
yeah.
she's sitting there. She's naked in
Yeah.
the tub.
It's like a blood
then-
shower.
And then at the end, it's just like and it just like
That does
all
sound
over.
pretty
Yeah.
Yep.
pretty
So-
gross.
So, that was my number 4. Number 3, you got the Friday the 13th 7 sleeping bag
Fucking great.
scene. Number 2, I went with Nightmare on Elm Street, the Johnny Depp.
Nice.
And number 1, I went with Dead Alive, the lawnmower scene.
See, that's the thing. I was gonna put that one in. I'm like, is that a
Yeah.
slasher?
Still haven't
It
seen-
is.
Still
I
haven't
guess
seen
it
that
kinda
one.
I
is.
know you could call it a little supernatural.
That
too.
was a fucking great movie too, and that scene memorable. The lawnmower scene was memorable.
And honorable mentions, I went with the other kill scene in Nightmare on Elm Street.
The
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get slashed.
Getting
and
flipped
shit.
around. And, yeah.
And I didn't know, but I threw it down to the Hereditary, the decapitation. That's not really a slasher either. But
See, like I said, it was very difficult. There's so many great kill
Yeah.
scenes. I
Yeah.
was like, well, but that's not a slasher.
yep.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so my number 5 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Hook?
Actually, it's
But
the
she
it's
didn't
the
die.
hallway scene.
Yeah, she didn't die on the hook.
It's the
either,
hallway
did she?
scene where the kid like comes into the house and he hears like the pig squealing in the back.
Yeah.
And he's walking down the hallway and there's the bloody door at the end of the hallway and he's walking down the hallway. He's like, "Is anybody here? Is anybody here?" And Leatherface just comes out and fucking bashes him right up top of the head with a hammer, and he's on the ground. And he's
Oh,
like
yeah,
all
yeah,
convulsing
yeah.
and shit.
Yep,
And
yep.
then he just drags him down the hallway, and he's still making that weird like
convulsing.
squealing sound.
Yeah.
And then the scene ends with him just coming out and slamming that big metal door. Like the brutality of
Yeah,
that scene.
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
when I first watched that, and one of the reasons I still love those 70s horrors is because
Yeah.
they're just so much like dirtier.
It's raw.
Yeah, they're like
right?
raw
Yeah.
and dirty.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, watching that as a teen, like I was
God, yeah.
like horrified, like especially with the dude twitching on the ground, like it
Yeah.
was just
It struck a nerve. for
Dude, that
sure,
movie
right?
gave me nightmares for a long time.
Yeah,
It did.
absolutely.
it
Because
really
I was
did.
like, this is real. This is real. Someone really did
Yeah.
this.
yeah,
Based
right.
on a true story.
And just the way like he what was gross, like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and huge and menacing.
yeah.
Okay, so number 4 was Scream, the Drew Barrymore death scene.
Yes.
Because like well.
I like the garage door.
So she
one, too.
she was like a pretty much a big star back then.
yeah.
Scream
And
too.
another great Wes Craven film.
And they hyped the movie up with
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore, and she died early on.
yeah.
Just the build up to that scene,
And that was another one that tug on your nerves too a little bit.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
especially
you
when
know what
she's
I mean?
laying on the ground with the phone next to her, and her parents can hear
Yeah.
like going,
Yeah.
and then flash to her hanging gutted from the tree. You know, that was just a great scene
Yeah.
for me.
Yep.
So this next one also for the same kind of reason, because of the kill, is Psycho, the shower scene.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because again, it was a star. It was the star. You know, like
Killed her in like the first 15
Right.
minutes of the movie.
and it's an iconic like kill scene too.
Sure.
you know, I
one of
mean-
the first slasher films ever made.
Right, and so and
Yeah.
it's been used and like parodied in so many different things, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so yeah, it's a good one.
Definitely iconic.
So then my number 2 is the Johnny Depp blender bed.
Of
course,
Yeah.
all
You know it, and actually for the longest time that was probably my number 1 scene until and this was your I think number 4, number 5,
Okay.
the Terrifier
That was 5, yeah.
hacksawed from hanging upside down and just you know up until that point, you know, you get a little bit jaded watching a lot of horror movies, and
Yeah.
I've seen this before. I've seen this before.
I didn't think I'd pull something from something this new,
Right.
either, you know what I mean? I was sort
But
of surprised that I put it on.
They made him just a great villain. One of the things that I liked about it, because when you think about like Freddy, or you think about Jason or Michael Myers, well, Freddy not so much, but you could see his facial features when he was doing stuff. When they have like the full mask on, you don't really get to. So is the combination of art just being art,
Yeah.
and just like cutting through this girl, like.
Well, the thing that I loved the most about Art the Clown was fucking dead silent.
Right.
Yeah.
And he made great faces too.
Like you knew his personality just by the
I hope
faces
they put
he made.
a
He didn't have to say a fucking
little
word.
bit of a better budget in the next one.
Yeah, I think
too.
that. I mean,
Well, it depends. I mean, I don't even know what they made off that movie, but I'm sure it wasn't much.
it had to be good enough that they decided to make a sequel, though. I mean,
yeah,
it must have had enough
But the
people.
acting, like I said, the acting was really. I mean, he was good, but like the rest of the
Yeah.
the girls were okay, but like that old lady thing.
Yeah. That didn't even really make a whole lot of sense for the movie.
That's what I said. I hope they just put a little bit of a better story. And a little
that
better
part
budget.
right there, didn't really make any sense. That lady who had like the baby
I'm
dolls.
not even sure what they were fucking doing there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the fact that was a weird ass apartment building with a weird woman.
Yeah.
In it. I don't know.
And I have two honorable mentions. Then Friday the 13th, the sleeping bag scene.
Nice.
And then Maniac. It was the scene where Tom Savini's in the car, and the
yeah.
dude just jumps up onto the hood of the car and just blasts his face with a shotgun.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And his head just explodes.
Yeah.
Like seeing that, like when growing up too, it was one of those scenes like.
Practical effects. Tom Savini was a master.
And it
at
was great
shit.
that it was him. Like,
Yeah.
he had his own head just like blown apart. And
Yeah.
so, the movie itself was decent, but
that scene was pretty horrific.
Yeah.
So that was great.
So those are mine.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good.
That was a great list, actually. And we still had overlap.
Yeah, we actually had quite a few of the same ones.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right. The movie of the month. The Loved Ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Craig and I had seen it before, and I had.
Well, I realized this, that subliminally, I'm sitting there and while we're watching the movie and I'm predicting what's going on, I realize I know why, because we fucking talked about it the previous month.
We did, yeah, because she was one of my female.
She was one of your female killers.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
Yep.
oh, wait a minute, that's why I know where it's all coming from, because we talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was a great, like, the Lola.
Let me tell you, that was my first time seeing that movie. I was impressed.
Yeah. It's
For
definitely a
like
sleeper.
a moderate budget kind of.
Yeah, and Australia puts out some pretty good horrors. I
yeah,
mean,
that
Dead
was pretty
Alive.
fucking good, and I actually recommended it to a couple
or is that
people.
New Zealand? Sometimes they're New
yeah, I think it was like
Dead Alive was New Zealand.
2008, I think,
Well, it's
maybe
the same thing.
2008
Yeah.
or 2009. I think.
Don't say that to anyone from New Zealand.
yeah, I know.
The Loved One?
Yeah,
That's a good question. I'm going to look it up because I'm interested.
What's the question?
Loved One, 2008, 2009, I think. 2009. I'm thinking.
2009.
Yeah. I remember like Redbox had just kind of become big then, and I saw it like in the Redbox over by
Yeah.
by CVS near me, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this looks kind of good.
Great description. The Loved Ones is a 2009 Australian horror film written and directed by Sean Byrne and starring Xavier Samuel and Robin McLeavy. It follows a teenager who finds himself at the center of a female classmate's demented party after he declines her offer to attend the school dance. Wow.
Yeah, if you're just looking for some some good clean fun that
Yeah.
It really got graphic. It really was kind of twisted. Like I always think that about horror movies. Like, whose minds does this come from? So anyway,
It was good
before we
budget and
talk
good
too much
acting,
about
too,
it,
by the
I want to make sure that I'm going to talk spoilers. We're going to talk spoilers. So if you haven't seen
Well, it's 2009.
The
We-
Loved
we
Ones
can
from
do that, right?
2009, you should probably see it unless you don't mind being spoiled.
yeah.
So, first things first, the girl, in the beginning, very inconspicuously asked someone to the dance.
Yeah.
She seemed like an average, normal chick, and he said, I'm sorry, I already got a date. I didn't think anything of that at first.
Yeah, she just walked away.
Yeah. And she
Yeah.
didn't like make a scene out of it or anything.
And so then after that, he's on his way home, and that vagrant runs out in the middle of the road, and he almost hits the vagrant, which doesn't really make you
There
think
was
that-
like stumbling around. And
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? And then he crashes his car, and that leads to the death of his father and all this stuff. So he's kind of depressed. But once he gets kidnapped while he's out taking a walk,
He was up smoking a joint, I think, or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
wasn't he?
Yeah.
He
up at a
climbed like
quarry
a
or
little
whatever.
rock wall thing. He was
Yeah.
there with his cell phone. He's smoking a doobie, kind of just relaxing, and then he gets kidnapped. And then all of a sudden, he's like blindfolds off, and he's in that fucking girl's house
with
I'm
her,
like, what the fuck?
with her and her dad and Sunshine. No, what was the?
Oh yeah, what the hell was her name?
Yeah, wasn't it Sunshine?
Was it Sunshine?
Was Sunshine the girl that? I'm gonna
Uh,
look because it has some characters in here. Let me see.
Yeah, it was Sunshine or where the hell was I assumed-
Bright Eyes.
Bright Eyes. That was
Bright
Bright
Eyes.
Eyes.
Yeah.
And I gotta believe that was probably her mom.
Yeah. Well, no, it was like someone that he just kidnapped, according to the summary here. So
Okay.
that's someone that he was in love with and kidnapped,
Oh,
Oh.
and gave her the old drill to the head to
Yeah.
make her docile.
Lobotomy.
Yeah. So the dad kept calling the girl princess, and she kept calling her dad daddy, which really creeps me the
yeah,
fuck
and
out.
there was that one scene
There's
where
one scene where, listen, here's the thing, and people say this all the time. Like, at some point, you got to get your daughter to stop calling you daddy.
what and
It's like, at a certain age, don't call me daddy. I'm dad.
yeah.
I mean, you're a little girl, all right, daddy. But now you're 30, you can't call me daddy. I'm dad.
Yeah.
In this case, it was really creepy.
Yep.
Because he was like, oh, whatever, princess.
And then but there was that one scene where you thought it was
They were
about to
gonna
go.
kiss.
Yeah,
They
because
get real close.
It was
Yeah, I was
fucking
like,
weird.
yeah.
The relationship of that mother, that dad and daughter was fucked up.
Yep.
Needless to say, with all the fucking... And then it turns out he's been kidnapping kids all throughout her life.
Yeah.
and they're all down in that fucking pit in the floor.
Yeah, and they've all been fucking tortured and fucking...
He does the drill to the head to all of them.
Yeah. It's like,
and then
what
they
the
dump
fuck?
like boiling hot water into the brain hole.
Yeah.
So the kid that's the star of the movie, they drill his head, but they don't get a chance to dump the hot water
Right,
down
right.
his head. So he's only partially like
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure, really, if you think about brain injuries, you can recover from a lot of stuff, oddly enough. Like, the brain rewires itself as long as there's not too much damage.
like if you don't melt it with scalding hot water.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you do that, that's a problem. But I'm even thinking there were these surgeries they used to do in the 70s called split brain surgeries. You ever hear
Yeah,
of those?
mhm,
Where
yeah.
they used to, like,
Yep.
sever the left and right lobes?
Yeah, to fix some sort of like
Seizures and
yeah.
other different things. But I gotta imagine that somewhere along the way they start to reconnect because the brain rewires itself all the time. You can actually force your brain to do rewiring.
Right.
So,
Well, yeah, and there was some sort of procedure they did back in the day too, where they would drill a hole in the top of your head,
yeah.
and it was supposed to like let the pressure out. Like it was some sort of weird thing that was
Yeah.
supposed to like make you like smarter or some shit. I can't remember what the hell it was called, but
That's messed up.
and she was injecting it with looked like Windex or something, right? Like
Yeah, to destroy their vocal
Esophagus.
cords.
Yeah.
Right.
and he was like,
So he can't yell. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty messed up too.
One of my favorite scenes was when he escapes and he climbs up in a tree.
Yeah, yeah.
fucking
They're
throwing
They start throwing
at him
rocks
'cause
at him
don't
until they
have-
hit him in the head and he falls out of the
They
tree.
don't have weapons.
I don't
in
think it was
Australia.
supposed to be funny, but it was funny as shit. She hit him with a rock.
Well, that's what you'd do if you didn't have a gun, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So it won a bunch of awards. It won an award at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2009, the Hong Kong International Film Festival in 2010. In America, AFI Fest, October 31st, 2009, and the San Francisco International Film Festival in May 2010.
Oh no, I didn't even realize that.
It also premiered at South by Southwest Film Festival in 2010.
Huh.
Well, Chris and I, we found it on those sleeper
Yeah.
lists, right? If you know,
That is probably a place to look for some new movies too, because that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But they got the Fangoria magazine gave it the Chainsaw Award for Best Actress.
She was good.
she was good. Yeah, it was good
Actually, I
acting.
wonder if she's been in anything else since then. Like,
That's a good question. I don't know.
she was kind. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that she was so nutty, she was kind of cute. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, she wasn't like drop dead gorgeous, but she had a
had a good soundtrack too.
yeah.
Robin McLeavy.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't low budget. I mean, it was probably. I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, it looks like she's been in a bunch of things.
Yeah, horrors too, or like
She get sucked into the horror genre.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. She was in.
oh,
She played Nancy Lincoln.
so it does look like she's into the.
Yeah. The Loved Ones. The Other Half.
Hmm.
2015, she was one called Backtrack.
Hmm.
I don't know what that is.
Australian film.
Yeah.
That Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter was fairly big, I guess.
And in 2013, she was on a Australian TV show called The Elegant Gentleman's Guide to Knife Fighting.
Huh.
All right. Is there a gentleman's guide to knife fighting?
I guess there is, apparently.
So, yeah, that was a great movie. I was shocked by some of it. The story was really good. Whoever wrote it, the story was great. It kind of fell into some of those common horror movie tropes, but it still did a decent spin on its own thing, which I thought was great.
Yeah, it was definitely original, I thought.
Yeah, the pit with all the brain dead people in it was interesting.
Yeah.
There was piles of bones, like they are obviously eating other animals that were dropped down in there for them. Because I was thinking, how do they stay alive? But then there was a giant pile
he
of
had
bones in them.
roadkill.
Yeah.
Too. Remember he
Yep.
picked up
Oh,
the
yeah, that's
roadkill
right. I
and
forgot
threw it
about
down
that.
the pit.
Her scene at the end, her death scene,
Yeah, it was good.
was awesome. The girlfriend coming, that was awesome.
Yep.
It was really a great movie. I would recommend seeing it. And my rating, I'm gonna say 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5?
3 out of 5 stars for
I'm
me.
gonna go 3.5.
Yeah,
think.
I give it
3.5.
I give it
Yeah.
3.5 too.
All right, so overall we'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. It was definitely worth watching, and now it's on streaming services, so you can get it with your monthly subscription. You're not paying specifically for the movie. That's awesome. Definitely
Yes.
worth watching.
If you haven't seen it.
Where did we watch it? Amazon. Was it Amazon Prime?
Prime, yeah.
Amazon Prime. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I loved it. It was very good. So I'm moving. So our next recording, we should do another one this month because we missed last month. This is actually should be for May, but this is June. What I'd like to do is maybe we can set up a test to try and do streaming one night.
Yeah.
Okay.
And see if that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna go see.
The Dead Don't Die.
The Dead
Yes,
Don't
tomorrow
Die
night.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
And that'll
Dead
be,
Don't Die.
we'll talk about that in the next.
So far, the ratings are mixed. Critics are kind of low on the ratings, which it's a genre that critics
Is
aren't
it
very
supposed
kind
to be
to.
like a zombie land or?
I'm thinking it is, but I don't really know.
you can't.
But so far, that the people who have gotten to see the pre-screening and last night's views, 63% so far. So
The fans. People
Yeah,
who
fans.
like that kind of movie.
yeah, the critics are like 40 something. So whatever.
Yeah, we don't.
Uh,
I don't latch on to critics.
but I'm excited to see
very
it. So
much, but-
Me too.
we should go out for some drinks, maybe something to eat before, and then
Yep.
and then check out this awesome movie.
Yeah, and we got to think about our top 5 list for next time.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's think about it, and then maybe tomorrow night we'll come up with an answer.
Yeah, okay. It'll be a surprise next time.
Yeah. All right. Excellent.
All right.
Everyone, I now have there's an email address, feedback at the American Nightmare podcast.com to send us some feedback for the show. We have a whole lot of new listeners, which is pretty awesome. And there's a bunch of new podcast apps out there that people are using that I'm just starting to see appear. So either we're getting onto some list somewhere, which I haven't added us to anything other than Google Play, Apple, and the new Spotify podcast. But there's some other ones out there. Stitcher, I saw. There's a bunch of other clients. So tell your friends if you like horror movies. We're not overly produced. We just kind of shoot the shit and talk about horror.
Yeah.
So until next time.
Later.
All right. See you.